franchise that is the crux of why we are fans. The rich, amazing history of a team that reflects the attitude of this town's people and embodies the spirit of everyone sitting in these seats. But when we step back and look, there is one thing that from Philadelphia to Wilmington, from Haverford to Pennsauken, from Westchester to Allentown, cuts through it all and bonds us, every one of us. Every fall, it is the Eagles green that runs through the veins of the young and old, and the divides that exist between races and creeds, rich and poor, the 700 level and the lower bowl are all gone, and we are suddenly one.
And welcome to another episode of Aatbirds Fandemonium, episode 14. And we're joined by Joe Pepe. You're here to talk about your Eagles fandom. Glad to have you on, able to do this. And basically this show is going to be about you. I'm going to ask you some questions. We got a slideshow. I will pop that on. The slideshow will go through all your pictures and stuff that you sent me. But welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I mean, I finally get a chance to just talk about the Eagles, which could be really amazing unless we start talking about those tough years in like the 90s. I'm not going to be too happy about that.
Well, we may bring that up just because the first question is, what is your first Eagles memory that you can remember?
It's funny. The first Eagles memory I actually ever have is the contest that you and I have spoke about off screen, but I'll say it for everybody else, how I named the Eagles mascot as a kid. And it happened just kind of out of the blue because back then this was newspapers. There wasn't the internet and all that fun stuff. And they had this contest about name the Eagles mascot. And my dad sent me upstairs to go read an encyclopedia. That's how far back we're going here. And I had to go find out what an eagle did. And the first line I read was, an eagle swoops down on its prey. Well, as you can see, I won the contest. I named the mascot. And that is the very first memory I actually have of an Eagles game that I can remember, because I met like Mike Mamula, and I met Ricky Waters was there at one point. I met Ray Rhodes. I met pretty much everybody on the team. I met everyone, but it was wild. It was them versus the Steelers in week 3 of the preseason. And then I got to go to a few different games, got a couple things signed from them. If you could see in that picture, I was actually afraid of the mascot because that thing was terrifying.
The old one was pretty scary.
Yeah, the old one, I don't know what they were trying to do, but that was nightmare fuel. And thank God they fixed that, because if you could see in the picture, I'm like ready to punch him. It's just, the South Philly in me.
But yeah,
I was ready, man. I was ready. And I was a young kid back then, but I was ready. But it's the first memory I have. I think we lost on a field goal too. I'm pretty sure it was 20-17.
Man, it's good. It's a good memory there. It's pretty cool. I want to ask about like the mascot naming and, being picked for that. It's just pretty cool because it hasn't changed. Now, other mascots, and they've added mascots for the other teams. But Swoop is still Swoop. It's still there. The mascot still stands after all these years. So it's something that you can really, hey, I named the mascot, and hey, it's still the name of the mascot. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's wild. And a fun fact to that story was like 4 years later, the Sixers were getting a new mascot with the bunny. And they all went to my dad, and they're like, you got to name this mascot. You got to name him. So eventually he comes up with some name and obviously doesn't win. 2 weeks later, he asks me to put in a thing. And I named Hip Hop too, but he's gone now. So I only get one claim to fame in Philadelphia. But I had 2 under my belt. But Swoop is still here, thank goodness. I mean, I figured I had to wear his friend Gritty tonight. Had to get the mascot vibe going for everyone.
Listen, I think that Hip Hop should still be the mascot. I don't like Franklin. So
nobody likes Franklin. Nobody likes Franklin. He's one of the worst. He's probably the worst of the major 4 of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I just think it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as Gritty for the Flyers. It's just
Gritty makes me laugh because he was like, hate it when he first came out. We were like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like, that's disgusting. And then like the Penguins tried to say something, and we were like, no, shut up. That's our dude. And then as soon as that happened, that was it. He was beloved.
But what about the Philadelphia, kind of go a little bit off topic, the Philadelphia Stars, they named theirs Blob, right? It's like
I got so many messages about that. They were like, why didn't you name him? And I'm like, well, I'm 33 now. I don't have that like kids creativity anymore. And I wouldn't have came up with Blob, that's for sure. I don't know what I would have made, but it would not have been Blob. But it's smart marketing. It got us to talk about him.
Yeah. And fun little fact, a lot of people do not know, the USFL has been around for 4 years. If you count the 3 years prior when it was the, 1983, 4, and 5, those years, the Stars, no matter if they're Baltimore or Philadelphia, has been in every championship game. So that's a little
really, I did not know that.
That is pretty cool. But next question I have for you is, now this is going to be excluding the Super Bowl, because a lot of people are going to say the Super Bowl is one of their favorite Eagles memory. So we're going to exclude that. What is your favorite Eagles memory excluding the Super Bowl?
So it's the Super Bowl is great, but we're going to exclude it. We're actually going to go back to the time when we first got into the Super Bowl where we beat the Atlanta Falcons. That parade-ish that we had after we won to get into the Super Bowl, I'll never forget it. We had a Mike Vick jersey with us. We had people like ripping at it. Somebody tried to light it on fire. Like, you know how Philadelphia gets. Yeah. It was crazy. It was wild. It was in the snow. My friend lost his phone 3 times. We found it 3 times. It was one of the first like parades I've ever gone to. So that's one of my favorite memories. And then I was actually at like every Dallas Cowboys game growing up. So just a compilation of all of them when the Cowboys came to town. And my hatred for them has grown so much more because they were so good in the past and we sucked. Now it's flipped and it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I joke with a coworker of mine who's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I said, the last time your team won anything, you were my age. So it's pretty good to say that because it's been basically a quarter century.
Yeah, that's I bought my one boss. He's an older guy, and I actually found the VCR on Amazon and gave it to him for Christmas so that he could watch the games again. He's like, "This is a really old joke." I'm like, "But it works every time."
It does, especially I think the worst Cowboy fans are in this area.
It's the worst.
That's by far the worst Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
I say that.
I don't get it. Why are you even a Cowboy fan? You're from here. I know 2 people that have moved from Dallas to here, and I let them, I have no problem with that because you're from Dallas. That makes sense. Everybody who's a Cowboys fan here is also a Yankees fan, and they love LeBron. That's their trifecta.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Every time.
So the next question I have for you is your favorite Eagle growing up, now, whatever, your favorite Eagle of all time, and why?
I don't even think this is close for me. It is Brian Dawkins. I mean, we can go on the Algie Crumpler hit. We can go on the suplex hit. We can go on how your intro had him, crawling out how he does, the Weapon X stuff. But one of the favorite things that makes me think of Brian Dawkins almost every day is in my workout playlist. And it's unfortunate we sucked the season that this happened. But when he did the hype video for 2015, when I think Chip Kelly was the coach, and it was all about working until the lights turn off on you, Dawkins is he's the only jersey I have still from when I was a kid. All the other ones are, too small. I've given them away or whatever. But Dawkins sits in my closet, and I will never get rid of it.
Yeah, no, that's a great, Dawkins is. And I feel for the younger generation that never got to see him play live. You can watch highlights. Yeah. That's all well and good. But to not see him live, to what kind of a player that he was and the attitude that he brought and just the tenacity that he brought on the field, I don't know if it's going to be duplicated. And to what he did and how he's so beloved in this fan base.
Yeah, there's no way you can duplicate that now, especially with the rules that are in place for the NFL now. But I was trying to explain this to my friend's nephew, who's about 18, and I was saying, he could get one good hit. It doesn't even have to be the suplex hit or anything like that. Just a good hit. And the energy from the game goes from here to there instantaneously because the way he acted afterwards. And then every play after that, you just felt like Jim Johnson and the defense stepped it up because they felt Brian Dawkins step it up.
Oh, yeah. And if you go on and you look at his highlights, he has a hit on Jerome Bettis where he flattened Bettis. And
Yeah.
Curtis wasn't a big, he was 200, probably 70, 80-pound running back. There's a picture with Jimmy Smith, the receiver for the Jaguars, running across the middle. He picks him up, slams him down. There's so many different hits that he's had over the years. And yeah, a lot of it, he'd probably have a lot of suspensions if it was this day and age. Especially when he used to go running back, go to the ground, he would like put his shoulder into him when they're on the ground. So a lot of that. But again, he turned into a different person when he entered that field. And that's who he was.
He was Weapon X. I mean, like literally, we just started that Philadelphia Dynasty League that me and you were in, and I instantaneously just changed my name to the Dawkins Suplex Tackle because I just love that guy. Like I was so mad when he went to Denver. I was so mad we didn't let him retire with us, go all the way through. But I'll love him forever. He was by far my favorite Eagle.
Yeah, that's one of the, the Dawkins leaving, going to Denver. It's a little bit different, but as the feeling that a lot of the fans had when he left kind of was in the early 90s when Reggie White left for Green Bay.
Yeah.
It was that kind of why is he being let go? Why not keep him be an Eagle for life? Now, it's a little bit different circumstance because Reggie White had a lot more years left. But again, the type of player each of those guys were and what they meant to the city. I think it matches, the older generation, like, you and I seeing Doc leave, and then the, other generation and stuff seeing Reggie leave.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, there's a couple like you said, Reggie, Dawkins. For me, I even throw Randall Cunningham in there because I loved Randall. And I'm just like, damn, I wish we had him forever. And then, you watch him in Minnesota and everything, like just chucking that ball 70 yards down the field and everything. Like, damn, I wish we still had him while we're going through like Coy Detmer, Ty Detmer, Bobby Hoying, like all these random guys that like I'm even shocked I could still remember him to this day.
All those guys. There is one picture that I do want to bring up that you did send me.
Okay.
See if I can pull it up.
I'm afraid. I'm a little afraid. Like,
No. It's the one that was in the slideshow, so it's should be okay.
I forget what I sent you now. Like I'm trying to think about it. Like,
so it's this one. So
okay.
Give us a little backstory with this picture.
So this is when I won a TV show the year after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was called TKO. As you can see, Kevin Hart was there. He was the host of it. And it was a Ninja Warrior meets Wipeout style show. You run the course. The other people try to knock you off. Best time wins. And I ended up winning it. And the big surprise was that Kevin Hart got Swoop to come out because they told him all about the Eagles story. It was right after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So we were flying high. We all did the Eagles fight song together. But the funniest part about that is after this picture, they announced my time that I won. Everyone's celebrating. And I turn around and I hug Swoop. And I don't know why, but I forgot that there's a human in there. And he was like, yeah, congratulations. I was like, whoa, what? like what the? I wish they kept it on camera because I just like lined up to hit him because I don't know. My brain wasn't like working in that moment. But it's such a cool picture. I get a local legend and Kevin Hart. I get the Eagles mascot. I won a TV show. How many times am I going to get to say that in my life? So it's one of my favorite pictures.
And this Swoop is less scary, like you mentioned.
Yeah, this one doesn't scare me as much, even though I did almost punch this one too because I didn't realize there was a human in it. So,
I like that. That's a good one because you don't realize that, especially when you're in the moment and doing something like that. Your adrenaline's probably pumping, so it's just like, you're not realizing it.
It threw me off so badly because like he didn't talk the whole time until I hugged him, and then he was like, "Congrats, man!" I was like, "What the hell?" Was like I don't know why I thought he was like a 6-foot bird for some reason in the moment, but my brain just said like, "Why is he talking?"
Well, I think you had the kid aspect of it's a mascot. There's no, it's a mascot. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it was a wild moment. Like there was just so many things going on. I have Kevin Hart behind me, like saying stuff. I got people shooting confetti at me, and then I got this giant 6-foot pigeon talking to me, basically.
Oh man. So one of the last questions I have is, what is it about the Philadelphia Eagles that make them the best team / fan base in all of football?
I mean, I get it. We get the worst rep. Oh, you threw snowballs at Santa. Oh, you're terrible people. Even though fans are terrible everywhere, let's just be honest.
I agree.
But I love this fan base and this team because they just remind me of that guy, like that 9 to 5 guy who has to work all damn day, comes home, has to work again at night, has to play with his kids, has to wake back up at 6 in the morning and do it all over again. We have never been the prissy prima donna diva team. Even when we had guys like Terrell Owens, who was a little bit of a diva, we were still smash mouth. Like, we still want to work our butts off to play well for the people that were in the stands. And I think the fan base appreciates that because that's the type of people that live here. We're all hardworking people, and we like to see effort because we put effort in our own life. So if you put effort on the field, we have your back. And I don't know if that's something you'll get anywhere else. Like, I was in Dallas at one point right before the Eagles were about to be in the Super Bowl, and they were like, "Oh, congratulations, congratulations." And I'm like, if the shoe was flipped on the other foot, that would never happen in the Philadelphia airport. Like, we wouldn't be congratulating you. We'd be booing you all the way through the airport because we're that diehard of a fan. And I love that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always fans that go too far, again, like we just said, in every city. But for the majority of fans, I just love the passion that comes out of us, how happy we get, how sad we get, honestly. Like, when things go wrong, I don't think I've ever been more depressed than those, 4 or 5 conference championships that we should have won that we didn't. Especially the Arizona one sits in my head all the time. So the passion that we bring to the stadium, to each game, that the team brings to each game for the most part, you can't find it anywhere else, and I love it.
And I think you have to look at it like, growing up and even now, like, Eagles lose on Sunday, you're not kind of over it until Wednesday, Thursday, where you're starting to think, okay, what's the next game? You get that. And also Philadelphia is, a motto that I always say, and, it isn't always the best thing because it's, I'm a very competitive person. So for me is, if you can accept losing, you'll never win. So, and I think that's the way Philly is. Like,
yeah,
Philadelphia, they're not going to accept losing. They're not going to be like, okay, we played well, it's a good game. No, it's not gonna. This isn't LA. This isn't the Rams or the Chargers where, it is. They're not real fans. They're just basically they're just planted a bunch of movie stars. But
we actually bleed. Yeah, we bleed green. Like, that's not even a joke.
Yeah, exactly. And that's for me is my motto is, if you can accept losing, you'll never win.
Yeah. I listen. I love that motto, and I'll never forget. One of my first jobs was Modell's, and the Eagles were doing some promotion with them, and Brian Westbrook comes in. I don't really remember what happened the game before, but he obviously screwed up because few of the fans, as soon as he walked in the door, it's like, "Yo, are you gonna block better next week?" And it's like, "Oh my God, he's here to sign autographs, cut the dude a break." But that's just who we are. We want you to work your ass off. That's what we want.
Some people can take it. Some people can't. We know the athletes who can't take it. We know the motto of, they don't see it, but we know some of the athletes who put so much effort, blood, sweat, tears into everything for the city, for the team. And, and that's why I love Jalen Hurts. I like what he stands for. I like the effort. I like the work ethic, everything like that. Just imagine if, say, a guy like Donovan McNabb had that kind of work ethic as Jalen Hurts, what you would have had. And for me, that's why I think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to take that step. And I hope he can, because it's going to shut up all the haters, but it also is going to show how much, of a type of leader this guy is, and, make the city love him, everybody in the city.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, I fully agree with you. I'm right there with Hurts. I think he's great. Every time I see his post of, his workouts or the way he's running through drills, I love that. And like you said, it's kind of heartbreaking to think that if, McNabb just put a little bit more effort in the things, would we have had a few Super Bowls during that time? It's just it's a little heartbreaking to think that. But right now, I love the future we have. We got great wide receivers. not Jalen Reagor, talking, Smith and A.J. Brown. We got Dallas Goedert. We got Jalen Hurts. We got talent across the board. We got the cornerbacks that are great now. We got Nakobe Dean, which I love like no other. So, like, I'm very hyped for this team because we have a lot of people that just want to, like, get in, lift the weights, run the drills, go out on Sunday and crush. And that's the type of team I want to root for. So I can't wait for the season to start.
No, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Absolutely. Thank you again for joining me. Again, this is Aatbirds Fandemonium, episode 14, here with Joe Pepe. So we're here. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you're, all our content on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you're checking it all out. We got a lot of fun stuff down the road. We have some more Fandemoniums as well coming down the road. So definitely check it out. And again, thank you again for joining us tonight.
No, thank you, man. Anytime I can talk about the Eagles, I love it, especially with someone who knows the game as well as you do. So I'm always for that.
Awesome. And the way we end every show is with a very good